Okay, next on our agenda is Tori Childs, Mission West Virginia Teen Pregnancy Prevention for Middle School.
Yes.
Nice to have you back with us.
Well, I'm back to talk about our middle school program. For those of you, just to kind of give you a refresher of who I am and what we do, I'm the Think Director at Mission West Virginia. It stands for Teaching Health Instead of Nagging Kids. And currently in Lincoln County High School, we run two programs. We run a healthy relationship education program with the 9th grade class, and then we run a teen pregnancy prevention program with the 10th grade health classes. And we are in our second year of the Healthy Relationships program, and things are going well. The students are responding well, and we are in our first year of the teen pregnancy prevention program. So we are set to finish sometime around April with that. And I've spoken with Ms. Lucas, and as soon as we get our survey results, I'll have those available to come and present to you as far as the students' attitudes. And then we're going to work with RISA to see, okay, how much did they actually learn versus how do they feel about the class. Right now, what Mission West Virginia is doing is applying for supplemental funding for our TPP grant. There happens to be more money out there that I guess folks didn't use, and they're putting it out to the current grantees. And speaking with this Teresa Ryan, the county nurse, one of the things that she would like to see is trying to expand to the 4 middle schools in the county. And we have an evidence-based program just like we do for the high school students. It's called Draw the Line, Respect the Line, and it's actually a separate curriculum for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. Because as you know, there is a huge difference between the 6th and the 8th grade students. And that's one of the reasons that we chose this curriculum. It is actually a curriculum that promotes abstinence, and it gives the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students the knowledge and the skills to not only prevent HIV, STDs, and pregnancy, but also it teaches them respect in terms of how do they respect themselves, how do they respect others, how do they make those decisions in life that are going to be important for their future. So there's a lot of communication skills that go into the curriculum. There's a lot of limit setting, refusal skills that we teach the students, and most of it's done in a hands-on atmosphere where there's a lot of role playing. It's an open communication. There's a lot of dialogue that goes on, so it's not just lecture. And what we teach the kids is that anything is possible. They can overcome challenges to their limits. There's ways that they can maintain the limits that they set if it's something they don't want to do. So for example, when it comes to 6th grade, we spend more time talking about drugs, alcohol, smoking, peer pressure from their friends to maybe cheat on a test, things like that. I don't even know if sex is really mentioned in the 6th grade curriculum, other than maybe some kissing and hand holding and things like that. And it's not until 7th and 8th grade that we start to get into some of those behaviors where they might get pressure from, somebody older or things like that. And I talked to a few of the principals, and I haven't been able to get in touch with everybody. And so far, there's a lot of support. I talked to the principal at Hamlin, and she's like, okay, when can we schedule? I said, well, first let me talk to the board and see if we actually get the funding for this so that it doesn't cost you all any money, and then we'll talk about scheduling in the fall. So I think that's a good sign that the schools are open to having us come in. And the last thing about this is it does match up with all the content standards of learning for the state. Whether it's from a health class or a social studies class or a science class, somewhere all of these lessons fit into the CSOs. So I guess what I'm asking for is permission to run the program, but I also, and Ms. Lucas, I'm sorry I did not send you the letter of commitment earlier. I probably changed it 10 times since we've talked, so I didn't want to have to keep sending you copy after copy. But I just need a letter of commitment saying that if we do get the funding, that we can run the program in the schools, and that's essentially what it says.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
How often would this instruction take place?
Sure. For the 6th grade curriculum, it's 5 lessons. They're set up to run in a class period. So it would take 5 class periods. And in the 7th and 8th grade, it's 7 lessons.
I mean, we're 5 for the whole school year, and the instructor would be
It would be one of the educators that we have in our
somebody
office.
from your organization.
And actually, the educator that would be assigned to Lincoln County is, she actually used to be the executive director at Putnam County Health Department. So she definitely has a background in all of this and is very qualified to teach.
They said that one was 5 times a year and the other was 7.
Yeah, 6th grade is only 5 lessons, and then the 7th and 8th grade is 7 lessons.
Is that one class period or?
Yes.
And all students take it, or do they have to have permission from home?
I leave it up to the principal how they want to do it. Usually what I do is I give the principals a letter to send home to the parents, letting them know that a guest speaker's coming in, this is what's covered, and if they have questions, they can either call the principal, they can call they can call me if they want to as well. And I leave that up to the principal whose phone number she wants to put on there.
Yeah.
So.
Is it atypical for a school to opt out or allow that to occur, for parents to opt out of that instruction if they wish?
Most schools will send the letter home. I have very few schools that do the actual permission slip to get sent back, just because that's a lot of paperwork to deal with.
Sometimes you can do it the other way.
But, right, I have, and Hillary, correct me if I'm wrong, I have maybe in the 5 years I've been doing this, had maybe 10 kids out of about 8,000 that we've served have their parents opt out. In the middle school, I don't get it near as much, just because the information that's covered is, it's more abstinence-based, it's not, it's more about limits and respect and relationships, and so.
Well, I mean, I agree, I think it's very worthwhile, but just so that they, I'm sure.
And usually what the teacher, because usually we do it, you know, in 7th and 8th grade, it'll probably be in a health class. In 6th grade, it fits in a social studies class usually. What the teachers usually do is they'll have work for the students to do, you know, in a separate classroom or something like that.
If they weren't in there, you mean?
Right.
Getting, but yes, the letter sent home specifically is for an opt-out feature, so that if the parents do not want their child to participate, then they can contact the school and say no.
Okay, so
we
it's
do
not like you
provide
have to give everybody's permission. Just
Exactly.
let us
It's an
know if you
opt-out.
don't.
Let us know if you
Right.
don't want to participate, yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
That's good,
but-
thank you. Do I have anything else?
And that's why I wanted her to present before I signed it.
Well, just myself, I think it's worthwhile. I think it's, once again, it's not really getting into some of the more controversial.
Right,
issues.
and the only thing on here, you know, as you kind of read through, because this came up at our initial meeting, it says in grade 8 that there's a condom demonstration. There is not. We do not do that in any of the schools across the entire state. I don't know if there's any schools across the country actually doing a condom demonstration. You know, even in LA County out in California, they don't do it. And so we adapt that lesson. We basically talk about, you know, it's in 8th grade. We talk about, you know, contraception. We talk about abstinence being obviously, you know, the healthiest sexual limit for you and your friends and things like that. And so that's one thing that I know always comes up, even with the teachers when I give them, when I hand them the books. They're like, "Okay, are you doing this lesson?" No, we're not.
Well, we're certainly all aware of the need for this program. You know, we read the statistics. We know how our county fares.
Right.
Although we're doing a little better, we've got a long way to go as our state.
And honestly, from doing this work, and you know, Hillary's actually been doing it a little longer than I have. Middle school is where you need to capture them and teach them about these things before they get themselves in those situations. You know, hopefully we're getting them before that happens, and that way they know what they're going to do. They know what they're going to say. They know how they're going to react. So hopefully.
Well, to deal with, like you say, not just in this instance, but also in other things where they might receive
Exactly.
pressure to
Exactly, and that's kind of where we start, and then we build on that.
No, we had met, there were a group of us that met, and she had gone over this with us, and just wanted to ask her to please present this to you all before we move any farther.
And I guess last thing, Ms. Luke, is if, you know, I'll give you a chance to read that. If you have any questions, you can let me know. I just need it back by Thursday so that I can submitted on Friday. So
Nothing
you
like
don't need
it.
it right this second, but I'll call Brenda
I
and
can
see what.
scan it to you.
Okay, perfect. So, you have a couple days. You don't need to worry about it right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, Dave.